And now we will continue with our MarTech Summit with our next lecture. Advertisers are facing multiple challenges ranging from economic uncertainty, an ever-fragmenting media landscape, a changing consumer behavior, to the underlying disruptive forces of AI. Our next speaker will talk about the MarTech paradox and why solving it matters. Please welcome the managing partner from Markendienst Berlin, Christian Bachem. Welcome on stage. Wherever you would like to present.
Okay, I guess it's time for a big round of applause for the audience because you're still here and you try to digest all this information you're getting today. I would like to talk about MarTech and the MarTech dilemma and the paradox and why it matters to solve this. So I'm in digital marketing for more than 30 years now. And as you already might have spotted, I'm the second guy to the left, and I've seen lots of things come and go. And just a quick note, because I guess most of you might not be familiar with Markendienst Berlin, this is what we're focusing on. We're trying to support advertisers to be effective, not efficient, but effective. And in case some of you have been here at dmexco back in 2011, there was history in the making back then, because this is when MarTech, the term, and the segment of the industry entered the stage. This is when it was coined. And it came with a pretty big and bold promise. The promise was that, first of all, MarTech should accelerate automation and thus boost efficiency. Second, not effectiveness though, efficiency. Well, second, it should enable data-driven decisions for marketers. Third, it should help to enhance user segmentation and allow for better and more precise targeting, and also improve customer experience and personalization. And finally, it should prove what you all are doing this for, basically the ROI. And the first MarTech landscape by Scott Brinker back in 2011, had like 150 entries. So if anybody here is like a super recognizer and tells me, well, hey, look, there are more than 150 logos on that chart, yeah, because they're double entries. Like, look at Adobe, it's in there several times. So it was around 150 tools, MarTech tools, back in 2011. And since then, something remarkable happened because the MarTech landscape exploded. It went like boom. Right now, we have 15,384 tools. And I guess after this event, after the dmexco, it will be probably 15,500 because several new tools might be introduced today or maybe tomorrow. So just an explosion by 100 times within just 14 years or 15 years. So this is what it looks like. And the question is, well, if a market is booming like this, isn't this a good sign? It looks like perfect. It's great. And now we got some intervention, unannounced interactive invention, because we have two questions for you. The first question will be, how many MarTech tools does a mid-sized company, a company with like 2,500 employees, how many MarTech tools do they use or do they have under contract? The second question will be, how many of those fully licensed tools are actually in use in that kind of company? So let's start with question number one. Any guesses? How many MarTech tools does a mid-sized company have under contract? Even if you would answer, I probably wouldn't, wouldn't hear you, so I give it away. It's 360. So you could use one tool per day in a given year. It's 360. It's a lot. It's really a lot. Second, how many of those 360 tools, if they're fully licensed, are actually in use? It's about 30%. So it's about 100. So there's a gap, there's a difference. Where does this difference come from? How did this happen? I mean, we have so many tools, why don't people use them? If they have them, if they pay for them. And this is what clients of me, of our marketing team, reply to that basically, even if we're not asking them. One answer often is, well, I'm a marketing guy, but this tool is in use by sales. We don't have access to it. So we have our own tool in marketing and sales, so you've got silos. That's one case. The second case is, I went to a trade fair like dmexco, and I heard about new tools, and they're cool. They're really cool. I guess we need them. So I asked my team to get a test. Let's try and test it. So it would probably be one more tool to add to the stack. Or another thing is, well, this tool that we had, it works pretty well, but there's one piece, one functionality that it doesn't serve. So we got another tool to focus on this one functionality. Another one, well, I'm not quite sure, being the CMO, I'm not quite sure if the tool is actually up and running or if it's still in setup phase. So there's a knowledge gap between marketing and IT, oftentimes. Sometimes setups take like a month, so marketing doesn't know if the tool is already employed or not. And finally, well, I thought this tool, we're not using it anymore. Is anybody still using this tool? I thought we're over with it. Oh, okay, I guess. Oh, we're still paying for it? Oh, not too good. So this pretty much puts it to the point. The MarTech stack is growing, so you stack a tool on a tool on a tool on a tool. It's just a stacking. And this sums it up even further. Well, now we have all those tools. How can we calculate the ROI for using all those tools? Well, let's get another tool to do that. There must be a tool doing this. So it looks like a character, but it's actually pretty much how it happened, how it's going on, how it's working. So what we see here is some kind of a broken MarTech promise. Do you remember the bold promise that MarTech gave back in 2011? What we see now is that lots of those tools were introduced without a sound strategic framework. As I said, stack one tool to a tool to a tool, so you get more tools, but maybe you're not more effective. They created more complexity, because just adding more tools does not add complexity, it multiplies complexity most of the times. Also, it caused lots of workload and drew people and talent away from what they probably would be doing. So workload and cost and capacity. It drew the focus away from customers, which marketing should focus on. And finally, it did not contribute to the business model and the ROI of the company. So it looks more like a hobby and not really something very effective. And someone pretty prominent puts it in her own words. This is Susan Schramm, former CMO of McDonald's, now CMO of Motel One. And to quote her, if a digital service doesn't amplify your core brand values, it's not an innovation, it's a distraction. And this is what happens most of the time, or lots of times with MarTech. Not always, but lots of times. So what can you do about it? How can you get out of this dilemma? How could you just go from here And I would always tell marketing executives, start from zero. Go back to start. Start from ground zero, go back to start. So first of all, try to get an extensive list of all MarTech tools in marketing and sales. Try to figure out how many tools you have and you own and you pay for. Like, do a stock taking of all the tools. Secondly, figure out a map where you map those tools on, where you chart them on, following a basic principle, and you should stick to that principle. It could be use cases, it could be data flows, a certain principle. And then prioritize those tools on the map regarding the effect and the value they create in the sense of the contribution to your business. Nothing else, just a contribution to your business. And then start eliminating tools that don't contribute, that are like nice to have or should have, but not must have. So you try to clean up your tech stack. You try to eliminate tools. We do this with a model like this. This is just like an example where we have a process starting with plan, prepare. It's a campaign process. Publish, this is when the campaign is up and running, it's published. Then you pick and collect all the data that come back, and finally you do the analysis and you do marketing mix models or whatever, and you chart and map those tools onto the process here on this map, and you try to figure out which tools are really relevant and essential and which you can skip or you can just delete from your marketing tech stack. So finally, since we're talking about tools, we're something like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to marketing. We do strategy, like this stuff. We're pretty close to IT. We have a deep technical understanding. We do lots of market research. So if you have any questions regarding that, if you have any problems or trouble regarding that, you can count on us. And I just figured out I was far too quick. I got like 6 minutes left. So I put some burden on the guy running the panel here. I told him I would not be too long, but 6 minutes early. Anyway, thanks a lot. You might contact me on LinkedIn or take a look on our website. It was a pleasure. Thanks a lot. And have fun with all the upcoming sessions. There's so much more to find out, so much more to learn. Again, it was a pleasure. Have fun. So now I have to hope that he will reappear, or otherwise we might just chat about something else. Or one of you or two of you might come up here and we have a nice chat. So up in public. Anyway, thank you. Bye.